Afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Convention Scene UK. I thought I'd just do a quick vlog for first timers, or the more unexperienced attendees of any kind of Comic Con. I asked for your input of what you think you'd like to see come on my YouTube channel. So thank you to Artsy It Loves Art for the idea, and here we go. Yeah, not in any particular order. So first of all, I'd say plan your day. Every convention is going to have a schedule for the day. So when it comes to talks, guest meetings, prop builds, where they're going to be located, a lot will have maps, so you can have a quick look at them. Plan in advance. Plan your day around what you want to see. I mean, the talks are becoming they're becoming more of a free opportunity to do at any Comic Con. So I would look at them first and then plan your meet and greets around them. One of the most important bits of advice that I could give you right now would be to make sure you have some cash on you. I mean, a lot of people leave it to the last minute. If you're travelling from a far distance, get the cash before you actually start travelling. Because, I mean, I've gone to a lot of events who don't actually have any cash machines within the grounds. And if they do, they run out of money very, very fast. If you don't get it just before you travel down, go somewhere before you attend the con. Make sure you go to your local supermarket or anything. Just make sure you get enough cash. You can always put it back in the cash in your account later on. But there is so many opportunities to spend money at these conventions. It is an expensive hobby. So, I mean, most vendors will take cards, but I cannot stress the importance of having cash on you. You will not be able to pay for guest meet and greets with your card unless you've done it pre-advance. You book them in advance through the website. So make sure you have enough cash on you, because you don't really want to be that person who has to leave the convention early or just for a brief moment, for a brief hour. And just to get some more cash, because I mean, you could miss anything in that time. The amount of times I've just been walking around conventions and you just bump into the guests and you have a quick chat with them, and I mean, yeah, you might want their autograph still and you still have to queue up, but there's moments like that you could end up missing because that you've not organised yourself properly. So definitely one of my top tips there, make sure you have money on you. I learnt the hard way once. So next tip, I would say, check the weather. If you're a cosplayer, it's even more important. Even if you're just a regular attendee and you're not in cosplay, it is extremely important. You don't want to be getting drenched. It takes away that positivity of the day. Make sure you check the weather, come prepared, brolly, etc. Cosplayers, make sure you have something in place for any detailed, in-depth cosplay, because I have seen so many costumes been destroyed due to high winds, rain, and you spend hours, months on these planning them. So spend that little bit of time planning the what if this happens, because that's the most important part. I have seen something quite interesting recently at one of the conventions. I believe it was in America. They had a cosplay medical centre, which I thought was a fantastic idea. So basically, any cosplayer with any damaged costumes could go there and get basic materials, paints, that kind of thing, and just top them up, and you would have people helping you out as well. And I think it was only a small fee as well, something like $5 at the time. So it'd be great to have some of the organisers to implement that as well. I really think it would be a popular idea. Expect queues. Wear comfortable shoes. Don't wear silly shoes. There's going to be queuing. Comic-Cons involves a lot of queuing. You want to meet a lot of the guests, you will be queuing a lot. Yeah, even with the vendors as well. You will be queuing. I've seen some vendors so busy. And, you know, they are a busy environment, but they're fantastic events for any newbie. There's just so much to look at. But make sure you wear comfortable shoes. Another experience from what I've had, my missus herself went with me to London Comic Con. Wore the silliest of shoes. I could have ever suggested for wearing at a Comic Con, and then was in agony from about lunchtime onwards, and we still had another probably 6 hours to go. So please don't be like my missus and make sure you wear comfortable shoes. Okay, charger blocks, battery packs, these kind of things can be a saviour when you because you're constantly filming, taking photos, live streams, all kinds of things that connect us to the internet these days. But the battery life of phones has still never been improved. Don't get me on that. So make sure you get a couple. I always take 2 battery packs just to be on the safe side. Probably some. I'll probably even maybe take an extra one this weekend at CovCon. Um, they really do save the day. I mean, could you imagine going to Comic Cons and missing out on that one, the one photo where, say, an actor walks past and like starts chatting to you, oh, I'll have a quick selfie, because a lot of them do that. A lot of them will offer you a quick photo of them if they're just passing by. Don't, this is all about the interaction of the event. So make sure you get some charging blocks. And they really could save the day one day for yourself. The next question I always see that pops up on forums, groups, is what is a VQ ticket? I see that happen quite a bit on Wales Comic Con, to be honest. And they are a convention that use VQ tickets, along with the larger conventions like London Comic Con, MCM, that kind of thing, where they so basically, a VQ ticket is you go to a guest. They are packed already with guests waiting for them. So to keep the queue smaller, so people are still able to get around the convention, they hand you a VQ ticket. So a VQ ticket is literally like a raffle ticket. It could be a little bit something that they've made up with a number of it on it, and it's that number will be shouted out, or it will be displayed at the guest location board to explain when you can come and queue up for that guest. So LFCC, they just put it on a board. They didn't announce or VQ's tickets 100 to 150. They just put it on the board. You go and check back. Oh, it's still on 81. I'll come back when it's back on 100 and whatever. Wales actually do announce it over the tannoy system, which is helpful. I do prefer that. Because you don't have to keep going back to the point of where the guest is. You could just keep going around until you hear that. So yeah, it's just a way of controlling the queue system. It can be extremely difficult to get VQ tickets for some guests for the lower numbers. Obviously, you want a lower number, more chance of seeing that guest. I mean, when I looked at meeting Sam Neill for his autograph, it was already up to 600. And it wasn't going quick, the tickets, unfortunately. So I didn't manage to get his autograph. Still got his photo op, which is good. So the lower the number, the better. So my advice is, after you've checked which talks you want to go and see, go to the guest hall. If there's any particular guests you want, and you know they're going to be busy, go and get a VQ ticket. Make sure you keep hold of them, and then you can just go off and relax and enjoy the day. I mentioned actually, make sure you've got enough cash on you. Make sure you save for the most of the year. I mean, I attend so many cons now. I find myself always like budgeting on getting photo ops and autographs. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll put that 30 quid away for that autograph this month, and I'll buy a photo op. It's the easier way to budget the event, so it's not hundreds and hundreds of pounds on the day. Budget what you want to spend. I mean, there's some Comic Cons coming up with some big guests coming. So I would, if you haven't already started budgeting for the day, start now. It'll make it so much easier. So then you can, you're less likely to think, oh well, I don't want to buy that toy. I don't want to go on the vendors. You can enjoy the vendors. You can enjoy the whole event. Make sure you budget. You have to budget for these things. So, pauses with guests. How do you go about doing this? Right. Well, recently, not recently, when I went to Wales Comic Con early this year, I wanted a couple of pauses with the Gotham crew, the Gotham cast, sorry. And instead of asking at the photo op, I decided, well, I want their autographs anyway. I'm just going to ask them there and then. See if, see what their opinion is on it, because it's more of a chance to talk to people then. Photo ops, you don't really get a chance to talk to them because they are a very, very quick process. Photo ops, you can last, well, it's only a few seconds. You say hi, but you can ask them to do a pause there. So if you do that, if you do choose to do it that way, make sure you have a photo of the exact pose you want to do. That's the easiest way to do it and the quickest way. Otherwise, you might just be hurried along by the photographer and the volunteers. You don't want to be causing a scene. If they say no, just that's fine. A lot of guests will not do poses, but they still do cracking photos with you. So, but don't take it personally. A lot of them will not do poses. Luckily, when I went to Wales Comic Con, I spoke with Erin Richards, which is one of my favourite guests I've ever met. She was absolutely wonderful, so kind, and I was extremely nervous, but she really appreciated me just bringing it up when I met her, because I wanted a specific pose. I'll post them up here in a second. I'll make sure you can have a look at them, of her doing a good strangling pose on me, but she said she's had many requests like that. She was happy to do it. When it came up to my turn at the photo op, she remembered exactly who I am. To be honest, I wore this t-shirt, so I don't think you could actually forget this. And she was like, "Oh right, so Barbara King crazy strangled pose, yeah, got it." And she was absolutely perfect, and how I wanted that photo op to turn out. It was perfect. I loved it, and she was absolutely spectacular. Same goes with her other cast members, David and Sean. I asked for another photo op where a pause there. That one I actually just said at the time of the photo op, because they hadn't actually come up with anything yet. Which was fine. They kind of just stood still, listened to me, a couple of seconds to explain what I wanted. They did the rest, and it looks wonderful. I couldn't be happier with them. So yeah, pauses are allowed, but don't take it so personally if they don't want a pause. Watch where you put your hands as well, because these are celebrities. They don't know you. Just see. You can kind of gauge it off always looking at the person in front of you. So always keep an eye on how the guest is reacting. So you can gauge how they're going to be with any kind of requests. So that's another way of telling if you're going to get told no. But yeah, always ask, and don't take it personal if they say no. Okay, next one, clashes. It's very scary when you see a schedule when it's released, especially if you've got about 5 or 6 guests all at similar times for your photo ops. It can be very scary to think you've just spent all that money, non-refundable money most of the time, and you think, how am I going to do this? Speak to a volunteer. They will make sure you get to each of your photo ops. I had a similar case with David Anders, Erin Richards, and there was another guest, I cannot remember who it was at the same time, similar time that is, and they told me where to go. So they saw I had that many guests to go to. They put me a bit further in front for Erin, so therefore I could get to the back of David's queue, and the next queue I just caught for I can't remember who it was. They managed to get me in place for that photo op as well. So the volunteers are fantastic. They know what they're doing. They've done this for many times. So always speak to your volunteers. They will help you in every way possible, because you have purchased those tickets. They want you to have a good time. They want you to come back. So another instance, I was at London Comic Con. So even if you've not got clashes, so I had to get the train home about 6:30. Christopher Lloyd photo op was going extremely slow, and I just showed him my train ticket. One of the volunteers, he bumped me right into the queue. He didn't call me, even though I was like batch 8 and they were all up to batch 2. They would put me in earlier, and they made sure I got my photo op. So it's definitely worth speaking to the volunteers. Last on my list is cosplayers. I mean, I don't know if you saw my earlier post when I started this group. Cosplayers really do make a Comic-Con, in my opinion. They are fantastic people who spend so much time and effort to make some wonderful creations. make sure you ask a cosplayer before taking a photo with them. Don't just go up and say, "Oh, can I have a quick photo?" There we go. Before they even say yes or no, ask first. I mean, there is a lot of the whole cosplay does not equal consent, and it's true. You need to ask these people. These are just regular people, for them to come in cosplay can be, it can be very daunting in the first place. So always make sure you ask for a photo. I am yet to find a cosplayer that has said no, because they've gone to all that effort in the costume, and they want it to be seen, which is good. But at the same time, they want their own personal space. Don't be going up to them and inappropriately grabbing them. Anything that can make anybody feel uncomfortable, it's not acceptable. And it really shouldn't be tolerated, and it isn't tolerated. You will get kicked out of Comic Cons for stuff like that. So make sure you always ask for a photo with any of the cosplayers. And if you want a quick pause with them, ask them. See what they're comfortable with. You never know, but don't be inappropriate. Don't be that person. Okay, so this was my video for first timers and any questions that generally come up with newbies attending Comic Cons. I hope you found it interesting. I would imagine a lot of you know some of the tips I've said in this video already, but there's a lot of people that don't. So I hope I've helped you guys some way or another. So if you've got any more tips, bang them in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.